Question 1. To illustrate this point, Daniel is building a dynamic single-page application. He needs to update the contents of an element each time a user clicks a button. He wants to replace the inner text with a new message without refreshing the page. Daniel mistakenly uses document getElementBid mydiv inatml plus equals new message inside the click handler and notices that messages keep appending rather than replacing. What should Daniel do to correct this behavior? Use document getElementBid mydiv inner text equals new message. B. Use document getElementBid mydiv remove a child. C. Use document write a new message instead. D. Add location reloaded before updating content. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Daniel is trying to replace existing content, not append. The inatml plus equals statement adds content. Instead, inner text replaces the textual content. Option B is invalid because remove a child needs a reference element. Option C erases the entire document. Option D reloads the page, which defeats the purpose of dynamic updates. Refer to DOM Level 2 specification user guidelines on DOM manipulation for replacing versus appending. Question 2. By evaluating what is the result of the following JavaScript function execution. Function test scope var x equals 10 if true let x equals 20 console log x test scope A 20 then 10 B 10 then 20 C 20 then 20 D reference 0. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Let is block scoped and var is function scoped. Inside the if block let x equals 20 shadows the outer var x equals 10, so the first log prints 20 block scope. The second prints 10 function scope. This tests understanding of scope hierarchy and ease. Refer to ECMAScript language specification SS.2 and MDN on var versus let. Question 3. From a practical standpoint, JavaScript needs to store user preferences, such as theme color, using cookies. He manually sets a cookie like this, document.cookie equals theme equals darker. Later, he tries to read it with document.cookie, but notices that multiple unrelated cookies are returned as a single string. What is the correct approach to retrieve only the theme cookie value? A. Pass document.cookie using split and search for a theme equals. B. Use document getCookie theme. C. Access it using window.cookie theme. D. Cookies are session only and cannot be accessed via JavaScript. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. JavaScript does not have a built-in method to extract a specific cookie. Document.cookie returns all cookies in a single string. Developers must manually split and pass. Option B is invalid. GetCookie is not native method. Option C is syntactically wrong and D is false. JavaScript can read cookies unless flag H-attorney RFC 6265 outlines cookie handling. Question 4. Given the circumstances, Jessica wants to iterate through her list of numbers and break the loop when she finds the first negative number. She writes, let nums equals 3, 7, negative 2, 5 for let I equals 0 and nums length I plus plus. If nums I 0, bracket console log nums I, what will be printed to the console? 8, 3, 7, B 3, 7, negative 2, C 3, D nothing. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. The loop breaks before logging the negative number negative 2, so only 3 and 7 are printed. The break exits the loop immediately. Option B is incorrect because negative 2 is not logged. This tests loop behavior and conditional control. Refer to ECMA 262 SS3 7 3 on loop control and break statements. Question 5. Throughout the course of building a simple calculator, Farah uses math round 4.5, expecting the output to be 4. Why does this produce unexpected results? A. Math round 4.5 returns 5 due to rounding rules. B. JavaScript truncates all decimal values. C. Math round always rounds down by default. D. Decimal rounding is not supported in JavaScript. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Math round 4.5 follows E754 standard and rounds to the nearest integer. For 0.5 values, it rounds away from 0, so it returns 5. Option B describes math flaw and C is incorrect. Rounding direction depends on the decimal. Option D is false. JavaScript fully supports decimal rounding. Refer to ECMA 262 SS02228 for math round. Question 6. A demonstrated by Istalung adds with an email info and wants to validate it using JavaScript before submission, he writes. But even invalid emails still submit the form. What's likely missing? A. The validate email function must return false when validation fails. B. The ID must be replaced with name. C. JavaScript can't validate forms before submit. D. Form tag should include action equals. JavaScript void 0. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. In onSubmit, returning false prevents submission. If validate email returns nothing or true, submission proceeds. Options B and D are related. Option C is incorrect. JavaScript is often used for client-side validation. Refer to HTML form validation best practice event handling specs. Question 7. The core principles of JavaScript variable declarations include scoping and hoisting. What is the result of this code? Console log a var equals 5a. Undefined b 5. C. Reference 0. D. None. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Var declarations are hoisted but not initialized, so is declared at the top but not assigned yet at console log a, thus returning undefined. Let and const would trigger a reference 0, but var doesn't. Refer to ECMA 262 SS323 on variable hoisting and NDN on JavaScript execution context. Question 8. The most significant aspect of input validation is proper regex use. Rainier uses this regex to validate usernames W+, which username will not pass the validation. A. User. B. User. C. User 123. D. User. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. The reject $= is only word characters. Letters, digits, and underscores. Hyphens are not included, so user 123 will fail. All other options are valid. This question checks regex understanding. Refer to ECMA 262 SS.2 on regular expressions and then reject syntax. Question 9. While examining, Nadir builds an AJAX request using RT-request. He notices that even when the server returns 404, the onload still triggers. Why is this expected behavior? A. Onload runs for all responses. It checks status manually. B. The server sends incorrect headers. C. Onload only works for 200 responses. D. JavaScript cannot process 404 errors from the client. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Onload fires after the request completes regardless of its GEP status. Developers must inspect chart status to differentiate success failure. Option B might happen but doesn't affect onload. Option C is false and D is incorrect. Client can inspect HTTP could refer to NRT equals a level specification. Question 10. Under the assumption that is Vega is developing a web app and dynamically adds user comments with this code, document getElement comments inatmal plus if user input a user enters alert XS, which triggers an alert. How can she prevent such vulnerabilities? A. Sanitize user input by escaping HTML entities. B. Use eval to pass input first. C. Disable JavaScript on the browser. D. Use cookies to store all user input instead. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. This is a classic XSS vulnerability. Injecting HTML using inatmal allows script execution. Escaping entities like to mitigates this. Eval would worsen the problem. Option C is impractical and D doesn't address the root cause. Refer to OXPXS prevention cheat sheet and ECMA 262 on DOM-based attacks. Question 11. With the advent of modern frameworks, Zahir decides to stick to raw JavaScript for a project. He builds a client-side navigation menu that hides and shows content without reloading. However, some users report older browsers don't respond properly. What is the most reliable strategy Zahir can use to improve compatibility? A. Only use inatmal to modify DOM elements dynamically. B. Detect browser features using type-off or in before using them. C. Rely on deprecated event models like attach event. D. Force all users to upgrade their browsers via alerts. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Feature detection is superior to browser sniffing and allows graceful degradation. Using type-off or feature an object ensures compatibility. Option A is unrelated to compatibility. Option C introduces instability. Option D is not user-friendly or sustainable. Question 12. The fundamental question is, will the following code return? Console log false equals a 0. Console log false equals a 0. A. True and true. B. True and false. C. False and false. D. False and true. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Equals performs type coercion, so 0 becomes 0 and false becomes 0. They're equals checks strict equality value and type, so boolean and string are not equal. Refer to ECMAScript SS213 on abstract equality comparison versus strict comparison. Question 13. As evidenced by is to Colin uses document right to insert user-generated content into a loaded page, but other developers in his team warn this may not be safe or reliable. Why is document right discouraged? A. It slows down JavaScript loops. B. It replaces the entire document if used after load. C. It converts variables to global scope. D. It disables console log. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. If document write runs after the page has fully loaded, it overwrites the DOM, replacing all content. It's also bad for performance and security, can enable XSS. Option A is incorrect. It doesn't affect loops. Question 14. In response to a bug in his login validation, Aaron runs the script below but doesn't see expected output. Function checklogin, console log checking. We're returning console log still checking. What's the issue? A. The second console log overwrites the first. B. JavaScript throws syntax error after return. C. Code after return is unreachable and will not execute. D. The function is missing parentheses. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Any statement after return is not executed. It's unreachable. JavaScript doesn't throw syntax error, but linters may warn about unreachable code. Option A is wrong. Console log doesn't overwrite. See ECMA 262 SS3 3 on function control flow. Question 15. A detailed analysis of code comments shows Amir's scripts are difficult to maintain. His colleagues suggest adding comments, but he is unsure which type is most appropriate for inline logic. Which is the best choice for inline commenting? A. B. ## this is comment C. This is comment D. * this is comment stores for inline. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Is used for single-line inline comments in JavaScript. * is for multi-line or block comments, is for HTML, and ## is for shell scripts or Python, not JavaScript. Commenting is essential per JavaScript coding conventions. See Google JavaScript style guide. Question 16. Taking into account the need for reusability, Prague creates a constructor function. Function person name age this, name equals name this. Age equals age, let user equals new person, Liam 32. What is the result of console log user instance of person? A. False, because person is not a class. B. True, since user was created using new person. C. Person is not defined. D. False, unless explicitly set with object.setPrototypeOf. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Instance of checks if an object is in the constructor's prototype chain. Since user was created via new person is an instance of person. JavaScript allows constructors with functions, not just these classes. Refer to ECMA SS.3 and MDN on instance of. Question 17. The general consensus is JavaScript is an object-based language. What does this mean in contrast to object-oriented programming? A. JavaScript doesn't support object creation. B. JavaScript uses prototypes instead of classes for inheritance. C. JavaScript cannot manipulate objects at runtime. D. JavaScript uses only built-in objects like math and date. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. JavaScript is object-based and uses prototype-based inheritance, not classical class-based like Java or C++. Ease introduces class syntax, but it's syntactic sugar over prototypes. Options A, C, and D misrepresent JavaScript's object model. See ECMA 262 SS 3.5 and SS.2 on object construction and prototype chains. Question 18. When evaluating the merits of client-side versus server-side validation, Tanya builds a form that uses JavaScript rejects for email format. A student bypasses it using browser developer tools. What does this demonstrate? A. JavaScript validation is useless. B. All validation should be handled by CSS. C. Client-side validation can be bypassed and needs server-side backup. D. Forms must not use JavaScript at all. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Client-side validation improves UX but cannot be trusted for security. It's easy to disable or bypass. Server-side validation is essential for data integrity. Option A is too extreme and B is incorrect. CSS does not validate. CO's best practices and HTML form validation guidelines. Question 19. Examining the consequences of Nassim includes JavaScript with this tag. He later moves it to but scripts fail due to missing DOM elements. How should he resolve this? A. Wrap code in window on node. B. Use set interval to wait for DOM. C. Move script into an iframe. D. Change the extension from .exe. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Scripting may execute before DOM is ready, causing null references. Wrapping code in window. Onload ensures it runs after page load. Option B is unreliable. C. Detaches context. And D. Disables execution. Refer to HTML spec on script loading and defer strategies. Question 20. The effectiveness of interactive design relies on proper event handling. Fatima adds, document. Get-beard. B. onClick equals handleClick, but handleClick needs to access this, which unexpectedly refers to the window object inside the function. How can she ensure this refers to the button? A. Declare the function using arrow syntax. Equals. B. Use bind this inside the function. C. Use function syntax, not arrow functions. D. Remove the event listener. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Arrow functions do not bind their ownness. They inherit it lexically, often window. To ensure this refers to the element, use function syntax. Option A causes the problem. Option B applies bind incorrectly. Option D is irrelevant. See ECMA SS 9, 2, 3, 1, and MDN and arrow functions and context. Question 21. The underlying principle of the window object is that it represents the browser window. When Sarah attempts to open a new browser window using var new in equals window, open tsapler.com example, width equals 400, height equals 300. What must Sarah consider to ensure the new window opens without being blocked? A. Browsers block pop-ups unless triggered by direct user events like clicks. B. The window open method must include a rel equals an opener attribute. C. The new window cannot have any dimensions specified. D. JavaScript cannot open new windows for security reasons. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Most modern browsers block pop-ups unless initiated by user interaction. E. G. Click window open is allowed in such cases. Option B is related to links, not window open. Option C is false. The dimensions are allowed. Option D is outdated. JS can open windows but with restrictions. Refer to browser security guidelines and HTML specifications on pop-ups. Question 22. Considering the evidence, Ravi sanitizes user inputs to prevent XSS attacks. He uses the following function before injecting user data into the DOM. Function sanitize str, return a cr, replay with G function m return and number 39 and m. Why is this approach effective? A. It replaces special characters with HTML entities, preventing script execution. B. It removes all spaces, which prevents injection. C. It encodes data as base to block XSS. D. It disables JavaScript in the browser globally. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Replacing equals with entities prevents malicious HTML or script injection by rendering code as text, not executable. Option B is unrelated. Option C is a different encoding method. Option D is impossible via JavaScript. OWASP recommends input sanitization like this to prevent DOM-based excess. Question 23. Within the framework of asynchronous programming, Dana uses a t-request and notices her code runs synchronously when she omits the third parameter in ONSHR. ONGETO data JSON away will happen. A. The request is synchronous, blocking further script execution until complete. B. The request fails silently. C. The browser converts the call to asynchronous automatically. D. The open method requires no parameters, so it defaults to async. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. The third async parameter defaults to true in modern browsers, but older browsers default to synchronous if omitted, blocking you explicitly setting true as best practice. Option B is false. Option C only applies to modern browsers. Option D is incorrect. Open requires method in URL to assess occasion. Question 24. In the absence of type declarations, JavaScript variables are dynamically typed. Consider let data equals 123 data equals plus data console log type of data. What will be logged? A number, because an array plus converts string to number. B string, because the variable was originally a string. C object due to boxing of primitives. D undefined, since plus is invalid here. Answer. Correct answer. Explanation. The unary plus operator attempts to convert its operand to a number. 123 becomes the number 123. Option B ignores type coercion. C is about wrapper objects, not triggered here. D is false. This tests understanding of type coercion and the unary plus operator. Refer to ECMAScript SS2, 5, 6 and type conversion rules. Question 25. Given the circumstances, Omar attaches multiple event listeners to a button as follows: btn click equals handle on en click equals handle at all. What will happen when the button is clicked? A. Only handle at all will execute, overriding the first. B. Both handlers will execute sequentially. C. Neither handler will execute. D. The browser will throw an error. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Assigning onClick directly overrides previous handlers. Only the last assigned function runs. To register multiple handlers, add event listener should be used. Option B is incorrect without add event listener. Option D is false. See DOM level 2 event spec. Question 26. The relationship between logical operators is crucial. What will be the output of console log 0 hello 42A 42B hello C 0D false. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation equals as E at precedence then. Hello A always to evaluates to 42 bow true, returns last operand. Then 042 evaluates to 42 since 0 is falsy. Option B ignores operator precedence. See ECMA 262 SS.12 and SS.14 on logical operators. Question 27. A common misconception about JavaScript arrays is the handling of sparse indices. Consider let r equals r5 equals 5 of console log r length will be the output for 6 because the length is highest index plus 1. B 5 because there are 5 undefined elements. C 1 since only one element exists. D undefined since the array is sparse. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Array length updates to the largest index plus 1, even if earlier indices are empty and defined. Sparse arrays don't affect length negatively. Option B misunderstands length semantics. See ECMA 262 SS545 2 for array length property. Question 20. The implications of browser differences mean Sarah's code works in Chrome but breaks in older IE versions due to missing add event listener. How should she handle this? A. Use feature detection and fallback to attach event for IE. B. Use only jQuery for event handling. C. Force all users to upgrade browsers. D. Replace add event listener with onClick assignments. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Legacy IE versions use attach event. Feature detection is the best way to write compatible code. Option B is a third-party library not always allowed. Option C is impractical. Option D reduces flexibility and support for multiple handlers. C and D on event compatibility. Question 29. Throughout the course of project handovers, Maya notices lack of consistent comments. What is the best practice regarding commenting code? A. Comment why the code does something, not what it does. B. Comment every single line, even trivial ones. C. Avoid comments. The code should be self-explanatory. D. Use comments to disable code temporarily. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Effective comments clarify the intent and reasoning, not redundant description of what code does, which should be clear from good naming. Over-commenting or under-commenting both reduce maintainability. See Google JavaScript Style Guide and Clean Code Principles. Question 30. In summary of form validation, David uses input type equals the number for age, but notices users still input invalid values on some browsers. Y8 type equals the number doesn't restrict text input on all browsers. Validation must be supplemented. BHTML does not support type equals a number. C. Browsers convert numbers to strings automatically. D. Type equals a number blocks all invalid input universally. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Type equals. Number provides UI intent validation, but some browsers allow manual text input, so JavaScript validation or server validation is still required. Option B is false. C. Unrelated. D is an overstatement. Refer to HTML Living Standard and MDN on input validation.